This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but we are the ones who've always encouraged you all along since day number one to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because it's time for Careology, the science of caring, presented by CareBag and hosted by Roxy Brown.
Thank you, Cliff. How are you doing?
Still doing storm and all. We're doing, by God.
We have no choice.
Do mode.
We have no choice. We have no choice. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank those that constantly come and join us every Tuesday on WPSL for Careology. We are loving you, and we thank you for being our listeners. And for those that just turned a dial and you came across my voice, do not change it. We have a great show today, and we want you to stay with us. We want you to learn about what's happening in your community. My name is Roxy, and I'm the CEO and founder of CareBag Incorporated. We do one thing, and we do it well. We provide proper hygiene and access to proper hygiene to our homeless and our families within our community through the Treasure Coast all the way down to Boca, Southwest Palm Beach. And I am just delighted to be with you again here. And to everyone that is on our social media on Facebook and Instagram and all over the world, because we are digital worldwide, thank you again for tuning in. We are so happy that you guys constantly tune in and want to know what's going on. So for those of you who are not in Florida or hiding under a rock, we are about to go through some serious hurricane storm weather. We don't know how it's going to hit us. We know we're going to get rains. We know we're going to get storms, and we want everyone to be careful. We know now that in Palm Beach and Okeechobee, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River, schools are closed tomorrow. So we want, if anyone doesn't know, even daycares are closed tomorrow. So we want you to be careful. Remember, this is not the time to cut trees. This is not the time to put things outside. Make sure you get those last minute things, because we are prone to flooding here. And we just want everyone to be careful. Look up your information. So if you have to go to a shelter, if you have pets, if you are handicapped, you know where to go. That is very important. We want our community safe. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and I have someone in my studio that's going to help me. So you know how we do this in Careology. We're going to go through a little housekeeping. We at CareBag are so pleased with what we're doing. Thursday, we had an influx of individuals coming in, and we had donations coming in. We are still needing Pampers. We are still needing Depends. So for those that went ahead and are volunteering and are going ahead and dropping things off, thank you very much. Our office is open Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But this Thursday, we will be closed. Like everyone else, we want to be safe. We want our clients safe. We want our volunteers safe. So we will be closed this Thursday. We do not want anyone out. But what we do for those that are tuning in, we have 2 mobile shower units. We have been through a pandemic. We have been through influenza. We've been through so much, and cleanliness has been at the top of the list. That is what we do. We're able to offer our homeless or families without water a place that they can go ahead and have showers. We go ahead and we're able to offer our elderly, our ones that are coming up in age that have put so much into society, those that can't afford Depends, male and female, we're able to offer that to them at no cost to them. So, and our young babies, just everyone. Like I always say, imagine going into your bathroom, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your soap, and it's empty. You don't have any in your cabinet. You open your wallet, your card doesn't work. That is what families are going through. And CareBag is so proud that we're able to go ahead and support our families. Not give them a handout. Support them while they're going through these times, because our economic times are very rough for everyone. You do not know when you are going to be in that situation. So we want you to know CareBag is here. And being supported by the community is a big help. So if you want to go and you want to go ahead and reach in deep down into your pocket and support us, we are a 501c3. This is tax deductible. We're coming up to the end of the year. So a lot of you know all that money you need to get rid of. I'm raising my hand, who can see me. Just write a check to CareBag Incorporated, and you can go to www.givecarebag.com, and it takes us directly to our website, and you can find out all our information. And we greatly appreciate it. It doesn't help me. It helps those in our community, our children, our veterans, and those are the ones we want to go ahead and support. So now that I've done my housekeeping, I want to go ahead and say thank you to our Commissioner Sean Mitchell, which is District 2.
That's correct.
Oh, talking to the mic,
That's
sir.
That's correct.
I know you know how to talk into the mic.
Absolutely.
And first of all, it hasn't been raining, but the weather's yucky, and you still came out. So thank you. We appreciate you coming out for our community. Let's just jump right into it. We're going to get to you, but let's jump right into it. What do you want to tell our community about preparation for this impending storm that we're having?
Well, thank you, because we have to inform all our residents that live in St. Lucie County that we are under a state of emergency. We also closed, the public schools will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. All county offices are definitely closed tomorrow, and we'll be watching the storm closely. And what I can't stop reiterating to anybody out there in the listening or viewing world is that you can replace a window, you can replace a door, but you can't replace a loved one. So please take
say it again. Say it again. Say it again, Sean. Say it again.
You can replace a window. You can replace a door or a roof.
That's right.
You cannot replace a loved one.
Cannot replace a soul.
Please err on the side of caution. There will be high sustained winds of gusts up to 50 miles 50 per hour. And we're going to get a lot of rain. You've seen all the rain the last few days. We're soaked already.
We're already
I
soaked.
see standing water in certain areas of the county. I've driven the whole area of the county today. I've been in constant contact with our county administrator, the emergency operations centers, and things of that nature. So please, residents, I know the last couple storms we were blessed. Dorian was coming right at us, and it fishtailed and went to the Bahamas. But just please err on the side of caution. That's the biggest advice I could give to any. If you have chairs out in your pool area or deck area, or any small plants that could become projectile and flying, you could hurt somebody. And just please err on the side of caution.
That's it. And that's, we all love our homes, we all love but things can always be replaced. And we can tell you that things can be replaced. And some people say, I don't want to, and please, if you do go, I my heart breaks when I see this, because I'm a big animal lover. Do not leave your animals. They cannot open the fridge. They cannot open a can of food. They can't open a bag of food. They can't open the door. Do not leave your animals. We have shelters that you can take your animals to. Please be responsible. And then if you say you don't want to leave your animals, I'm going to say that again. We have shelters that will take them if it comes to that. The Treasure Coast is a treasure coast because it's beautiful.
Yes.
And we're surrounded by water. So, we want people to be careful, even though we might not have a direct impact.
Correct.
But the wind and rain causes more damage, than anything else.
It sure does.
And our beautiful
And if you don't need to drive, don't go out on the roadways.
Yeah.
Please just stay home with your loved ones. I've got young boys, and they can drive me crazy sometimes, but at least I know we're safe.
Where they are.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I have a 3-year-old in my house now, so this ought to be fun. Yeah. And she's all about going to school.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I've been trying to let her know from when I picked her up, we're not going to school tomorrow. And she gave me that look. Really, Gigi? We're not going to school, so this should be fun. But, find games. There's so many things that you can do. Yes, we don't do it. Everything is our phones. If electricity, make sure you charge your phones ahead of time.
Correct.
Make sure you have batteries. And it's amazing that we have to repeat this constantly, and we live in the state of Florida.
But you know what? We do have an influx of people that have not lived here that long.
True.
So what I could stress, too, is if you have bottles of water or gallons of water, freeze those, because if we do lose power, you can put those in the refrigerator, and it may keep your other food colder.
If you don't have a generator.
Right, and run a tub of water.
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
No.
Just in case.
Just in case, or use your pool water.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that. See, that's why you're the commissioner. I didn't even think. I was talking to someone. I was like, why do we have to repeat this? But I remember someone saying, we have almost 1,000 people that move to Florida. Is it
Every
a
day.
day? Every day. Almost 1,000 people moving. So these are people mostly from up north, other countries.
Or from South Florida, too.
Or from different parts of South Florida. So we want to let you know we are prepared here. And do emergency personnel come out in the middle of a storm?
Well, just your first responders. That means your
Okay.
sheriff's department, your police department, and your
Okay.
EMTs and your firefighters. And because
don't
I
wanna
don't
put 'em in
believe this will be a hurricane.
Right.
Because we have closed bridges or told
Right.
evacuees out on Hutchinson Island
Okay.
to please come
To
in,
come
but
in.
we don't anticipate
We
that
don't
kind of
that-
weather.
Okay. Well, you know what? We don't want to anticipate that. And if you know that they say evacuate, evacuate. That's it. Just evacuate. What else would you like to share with us?
I just happy to be on your show. I've heard so much about all the good you do in the community, and I like to
thank
spend
you.
time with many of the not-for-profits because, government can't solve all the problems.
No,
we
it
never
cannot.
have, and it's not a way of the world.
No.
So you have to work alongside with them. There's so many not-for-profits that do so much good work for the people that are
Struggling.
or less fortunate, for lack of a
Struggling,
better
less
word than
fortunate,
others,
trying to bridge the gap, or have falling down a little hole, or I can go on and on and on. How we say it at my office are for our homeless, we refer to them as our neighbors without walls, because they used to be a neighbor to somebody. So there are neighbors without walls. For my families that are struggling, we're just helping you bridge the gap.
Yeah.
That's it. We're
And I
just
loved
helping
what
you
you
bridge the
said
gap.
prior. You said this isn't a handout; it's a hand up.
Nah, it's not everything people
a
think.
handout
It's
to
a
help
way
somebody.
just to help someone, and that's what we want, because you don't know when you're going to be in that situation.
It's
You
happened
don't
to
know
all of
when
us.
it's happened to all of us, and we want people to be comfortable. Something we stress in our office is dignity. You come in with respect, we treat you with dignity, and that's a big aspect of what Care Bag does. But we want to let everyone know there's so many good nonprofits here, and there's so many. When individuals come in our office, something we always try to go ahead and stress: what else can we help you with? These are some other resources we have. How can we help you? And if we don't have the answer, let's try and find the answer. So we had a mother I'm just going to give a story. We had a mother that came in last week, grandmother, that's raising her 3 kids, her 3 grandchildren, and unfortunately her daughter is in prison, and she got homeless. And she's like, I have nowhere to go. The first bell that went off in my head was Life Builders. Perfect. They were there, they verified, and they were able to assist her. And that's what it's about. That's what Careology is about. We do it on the show, and we do it outside of the show. It's collaboration, it's partnership. But enough about me. Please go ahead and tell us a little bit about how long have you been in the arena for St. Lucie, and just what are your hopes, your dreams for our county? Because I love it, so I want to
Thank you
hear.
for the question, and I'm
You're welcome.
glad to respond. First and foremost, I moved to St. Lucie County in 1991. Was an iron worker by trade. I went through an apprenticeship program, and things were slow up north, and I wanted to move closer to my parents.
Up north where?
Originally from New Jersey, but I worked in Manhattan.
Okay.
And in 1991, I moved here to be closer to my mom and dad. And I was, for the last 22 years, I ran the Iron Workers Union and the apprenticeship program, which is
Okay.
a skilled trade. You go through 4 years of apprenticeship, you get to retire with something with dignity called a pension and health
Right.
care for you and your family. So I knew I was going to be turning 62, and I had done iron work for 40 years, and I had the ability to retire. Retire with dignity with something
Right.
called a pension. So I spoke to some close friends in the community, and they said, Sean, you were always involved. You're on a Career Source Board for 16 years. That's the Workforce Development Board. Okay? Planning and Zoning, Contractor Licensing Board. As I alluded to before the show, I have a daughter with Down syndrome, Special Olympics, always been a volunteer and a fundraiser for them. So a couple close friends said, hey, there's an open seat, and you've always done a lot in the community. You're going to be retiring. I don't think your wife's going to let you sit home all day while she has to get up and go to work. So I decided to put my hat in the arena, and I ran 4 years ago on a slogan of people over politics. And what I mean by that is there's enough dysfunction in certain parts, well, definitely in Washington, D.C., and dysfunction in some parts of Tallahassee.
Oh, yeah.
But here locally,
We're
it's
pretty
not a
cool,
Republican
yeah.
or a Democratic idea to fix a pothole or to get utilities up and running and plan for the future. So I ran that I was a job creator, not only a job creator, but a job that turns into a career. We work diligently with the Economic Development Council, the Chamber of Commerce, the colleges, to get all these distribution centers here. And what these distribution centers pay over $24 an hour plus benefits. And I'll just give you examples: Amazon, FedEx, Cheney Brothers Food Distribution, A1 Lumber, Maverick Boats. These are all good paying jobs that we've been able to create. When I first moved here in 1991, there were no jobs here in St. Lucie County. I drove to West Palm Beach every day.
Right.
And that was 40 hours a month that I spent away from my family, that I could have worked in the
Just on the
community.
road.
So the old number was 84% of our residents used to drive out of the county to go to work. We have that number down to 61, which is still a long way to go, but it's a
much
significant
better.
change.
A big drop, yes.
So that's what I was dedicated to, when I ran 4 years ago. And if I'm fortunate enough to win again, my priority, not only on the job creation, on controlled growth, so we keep our parks, our reservoirs, and our canals, in perpetuity, because we don't want to overdevelop,
Right.
but also workforce housing.
Yes.
To me, that is one of the biggest problems we have,
Oh,
that and the
yes.
homeless. And because of inflation and because of COVID and mental health, it's really exasperated and it's grown so much. So I'm dedicated working with public-private partnerships, work with developers, work with the federal and state legislatures, that we can collectively together work something out. Now, I was proud beginning of this year, as chairman, you get to cut the ribbons, for lack of a
Right.
better word. And we have a place called Blue Sky Landings up here in Fort Pierce, where there'll be 184 apartments, condos, where people that are teachers, firefighters, construction workers, people that work in different industries can afford to stay here. Because to me, it's
And
paramount
it's
that
already full.
not only, I know,
It's
I know,
already
but
full.
it's paramount
Yeah.
that you should be able to work here, play here, and live here.
And afford here.
I have 6 children. One of my daughters is a public school teacher. She makes about $50,000 a year, and approximately 50% of her gross income goes to her rent. She's bid on 3 and she's not alone. This is just the story I can tell. But she's bid on 3 houses. She's been outbid every time by people paying cash or 10% over what they're asking.
Yes,
So
because
she's
they
being
can afford
shut out.
it, shut out.
And she's being shut out. So
I've-
we really have to, really, I'm
tighten the
dedicated
reins,
to it.
tighten the
yes,
reins on
and
this.
just help the citizens out.
Well, you know what, talking about that, I'm just going to piggyback off what you said. I remember even before COVID, we had teachers that were living in hotels that
yeah.
couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And we were bringing them items. And when COVID happened, it just got worse.
It did.
And it broke my heart. Between the teachers and the restaurant workers, we were going to restaurants. The restaurants, even though they had to lay off their workers, they were feeding them. But they didn't have any money to buy the basic essentials. So my
gotcha.
basic essentials, I'm talking about toilet paper,
Well,
deodorant.
nobody could get
Yes.
paper towels or toilet paper.
Oh no!
I don't care if you
no,
even
no.
had the money.
Look, Care Bag had.
Yeah, God bless you.
We had a donor in Delray, and he got a container, and I don't know how he did it, but he had bought a container, and when he got it, he said, "Who can I give it to?" And I never met this man, and he called me out
He
of the
just
blue.
knows all the good you do.
And I don't know how he found us. He said, "Can you pick it up?"
The
And
man above was
the
looking.
man above.
Yeah.
We talk about Jesus. Oh,
Amen.
Look, Cliff,
Amen.
don't even let him know. We talk about Jesus on this show. Yes, we do. And he was able to supply us until masks, 60,000 masks.
Wow.
We gave hospitals. We gave out to schools. I mean, anyone that needed it. We just shared it with everyone.
awesome.
Toilet paper. And what I noticed, it was my teachers. And I was hurt by that. Even it was my teachers and some nurses. And I was really hurt with the amount of teachers that I saw living in little dinky hotels because they could not afford the rent. And people are not understanding. These are the ones that are teaching our next generation. If they get flustered and frustrated, how are we expecting them to do a good job?
No, good point.
You know, so we really, and I was at some place today, and that's what we were talking about. Affordable housing.
I like to call it workforce housing.
Yeah, not just
you work,
for-
but you can't afford
You can't
to live.
afford it. And it's not just for the people that are struggling. These are firemen,
Mm-hmm.
teachers,
Yeah.
nurses. These aren't blue collar workers. These
Yeah.
are people that went to school for a
The
profession.
backbone of our country.
Without them, we don't have anything.
We don't exist.
Our children, we can't go to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
we can't get good care. And it was just amazing. So many developers, they start with a good intention,
Mm-hmm.
but then it switches and it turns. And then everything gets turned up. So that is a passion of mine because I see it every day. I have people living in their cars and they work 2 jobs and unable to afford it. It's just sad.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
I'm glad you're running in
the
that.
bogey back in the day was 25%.
Right.
That either your rent or your mortgage, and now it's upwards of, like I alluded to, 50%. Now, we were fortunate through the pandemic with the American Rescue Plan. We gave out millions and millions of dollars to businesses to keep them open and to take care of their employees, people rental assistance, home mortgage assistance, and we really did a good job with that. And we were fortunate the last 3 years, the county as a whole, we've dropped our millage, which is that's the multiplier for your assessed value of your home, and that's what you pay in taxes. We've raised them, we've lowered them 3 years in a row to the tune of $18 million. That would have been recurring. So for 10 years, $180 million in savings. And I'm committed to make sure that we keep lowering our millage because we're bringing in businesses here, which
Yes.
the businesses will take the relief off the homeowner.
Right.
So when you talk about what the rents are, there's a problem we have in this state too, and it's not at my level, but it's at the state level, and
Right.
that's homeowners insurance.
Right. Oh,
Mine
who
went
you
up
telling?
last year $1,200,
Who
and I
you
was lucky
telling?
to get the insurance. So that's a problem that I hope that the state legislature and the governor can fix because
Right.
that's when you say, why are the rents so high? Why is the mortgage so high?
Because your insurance
My
is high.
my own taxes at my house went down $19 last year. What I was grateful for. Okay, well they went down, but my homeowners went up $100 a month. So I can feel people's pain because I see it with my children and my grandkids and the things that we've just got to work harder to as I alluded to before, a rising tide lifts all.
Yes.
So the only time you look down at somebody is when you should be giving them a hand up. So
I'm so funny you said that because I actually text that to myself this week.
it's so true.
This is before the storm. It came across. I heard it somewhere, and I've
It's
heard it
embedded
so
in
many
me.
times.
It is.
And it was like a rising tide lifts all.
Yeah.
And I was like, if we could just get people together to see the problem, if we come together without having to see who's doing what or what's doing what, imagine what we could accomplish. This is Roxy with Careology, and I'm with Commissioner Sean Mitchell for District 2, and we just said something. I want you to repeat it. A rising tide
Lifts all.
lifts all. We're going to be back right after this commercial message because without my beautiful sponsor, Treasure Coast Lexus, Treasure Coast Stewart of Toyota of Stewart and the Woods family, thank you so much. We love you, but we will be back after these messages with myself, Cliff, and Commissioner Sean Mitchell. If you could reimagine the way you buy a car, what would you do? Make it simple, make negotiations disappear, demand transparency, then experience amazing at your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Car Buying Simplified. Treasure Coast Lexus is a proud sponsor of Careology. Every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m., caring and supporting for our community. Car Buying Simplified. Check out your Treasure Coast Lexus dealer. Create custom business signage that customers can't miss or resist. Let Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie help you get the job done right. Over 80 years combined experience. Get it right the first time. Call 772-337-4027 and tell them Roxy said to call. Remember, call 772-337-4020. Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie. Careology was created to talk about the issues that face you in your community. You're invited with me, Roxy, every Tuesday at 6:05 p.m. right here on WPSL 1590. Careology, the science of caring, is about you, family, and the community moving forward. Please do join us. Remember, Tuesday at 6:05 p.m.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
We now return to Careology, the science of caring. Once again, here your host, Roxy Brown.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. And we are so glad to have you with us. If you are tuning in with us for the first time or you just got in your car, please drive safely. The roads are slippery. The first rain is the rain that is the worst. People don't understand that. The grease from the car, the grease from the trucks, that's what makes the roads slippery. So everyone, please be careful. And I just want to bring, my little one is not with me in the studio today. I had someone just text me. She's not with me in the studio. So I know she's watching. So I just want to say, love you, Martienne. Gigi loves you.
We hardly knew she was here when she was
She
here.
is
was
the
so
perfect
quiet.
little angel. A 3-year-old. Sean would not make a noise. Got her headphones on, listening to her
be my
Grace
new friend.
Corner. She'll be your new friend. So we miss you today, but she's with Grandpa. So, but welcome with us again. This is Roxy here at Careology, and we're talking to our Commissioner, Sean Mitchell of District 3, but we touched on, of District 2. Why did I say 3? My apologies. I've been saying 2 all evening. District 2. Okay. We've been talking about getting ready, preparing for the hurricane. This is it for our bad weather. We're going to have a lot of rain. We're going to have a lot of wind. Please do not start cutting down trees, trimming. This is not the time to do that. Please be careful. I saw someone cut some trees on my block, and I cringed. I'm just telling you, I cringed because when those things start flying, they fly. So my shutters will be being closed to the front of my house.
Hey, God bless
Yes,
you.
it will. Okay. So please be careful. Remember, wind can pick up anything. Okay, please be careful. If you know you're missing something, now is the time to get it. Try to, like Commissioner said, try not, just stay home. There's no need to go outside. Nothing's happening out there that you need to see. Get some board games. Remember to charge your phone. Remember to know where your flashlights are. Be prepared for those that are moving, that have moved to our area, and this is your first tropical storm. Welcome to Florida and the Treasure Coast. This is a annual event here for us, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
most years.
this is what we do. Mother Nature has given this to us.
All the new residents are now initiated.
They're now I love that. All the new residents are now initiated. Thank you, Cliff. But Sean was telling me some really good stuff. You were saying that you were talking about more people over 65 than under 18.
Yeah, and
Tell us about it.
I
Yeah.
can give you the stats actually from the 2020 census.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I love numbers. Everyone knows
It's a
that.
good breakdown.
Uh-huh.
In this county, St. Lucie County, 48.8% are male and 51.2% are females.
Uh-huh.
The average age, the median age is 45.2 years, and 80.5% are 18 years of old or older. Little better than 24.7% are 65 years or older. So there's more people over 65 than there are under 18. And our county administrator, Howard Tipton, it's called Coffee with Tip. And he explained that if we put a fence around St. Lucie County and nobody moved in for 1 year, we would lose 400 people a year, because the average age, there's a lot of people over 65, which segues into, I know I'm older. I need to wear glasses when I drive at night. So we have to do the striping on the roads.
Don't knock the glasses at night. I wear mine too.
But the point I'm making is
I
that
know.
older people need glasses. The striping has to be there, more
thicker.
lighting.
Okay.
So we have to be cognizant of the fact.
And
of,
that
as
means
a
spending
county.
more money.
Yes, yes. But we
But
used
for
to have
safety.
Oh, for safety. We used to have a 85-year plan for repaving our services, and a 65-year plan, and now it's down to 31. So on repaving. So we're getting there. But we have a lot of work to do.
Well, I moved here because I'm glad I moved here. I love Port St. Lucie. That's number one. I just think this is one of the best places to live. And I'm a New Yorker. So for me to say that's a big deal. But I love
Yankees
it.
or Mets?
Mets.
Well, they're having a great year this year.
Yes, they are.
They really are.
Yes, they
And,
are.
I'm going to brag a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, in July, I'm going to tell you a sad story for a minute, because but in July 20th, my mom, who was 96 years and 5 months old, she lived 8 days longer than Queen Elizabeth, passed away.
Oh, our
3 days later,
condolences.
my mother-in-law passed away also. So July was a tough month for me and my
Tough
family,
month.
and God bless my mom and my mother-in-law. But I was asked by the tourism department of St. Lucie County to go up to Citi Field in New York and throw out the first pitch. Well, I went up there and I threw a strike.
All right.
DeGrom, who's their ace pitcher, he was in the 6th inning with no hits, no walks. He was throwing a perfect game. Incredible. He came out, and then this fella, his name is Diaz. He's the reliever. He came in and struck out the sides. They played his trumpet, like Timmy the Trumpet, and plays his song for him.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing day that I was able to I bought tickets for my son, my grandson, my brother, my nephew, my family, and my wife and I and my kids got to go out on the field.
That's
and
nice.
Brandon Nimmo, he's a center fielder for the Mets. And during the pandemic, he worked with me with the Treasure Coast Food Bank, handing out boxes of food and,
Right.
and perishable and non-perishable items to our citizens. And he worked the whole day with me. And that day, I had a Nimmo jersey on because he's my favorite Met.
Okay.
Well, for 2 reasons. He's a real gentleman. He gives back to his community. So I didn't even notice it. After I threw the pitch, I turn around. He's standing right next to me. And my wife says, he's Sean. He ran over from the dugout. And he said, hey, Commish, it's been a while. How you been? He signed autographs. It was just, my family needed
Your
that.
family needed
You
that.
know, and I
Sometimes
just-
things happen that just
Yep.
that just fuses things together.
But we made a big investment. The Mets will be here for another 25 years.
Wow.
We renovated the entire Mets Stadium. And tourism is at the highest it's ever been in this county. Like, we're talking about the storm right now. Well, 95% of our hotels are already booked because people from Tampa and the other areas
Are coming over.
coming over here to stay here,
Right.
So we're a neighbor in need. We're here to
here.
help too. So I'm just real happy. The last 4 years, I've seen some marvelous things happen here in the county. I really, really have, and I'm proud that to be a part of it. And they say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I
That's
truly
true.
love being a public servant.
Well, it takes a lot. In all my years, I never thought I would be
In the position you
in
are
the
today,
position that I'm in.
helping others.
And definitely, I could say.
Yeah.
And I say that not to be, for she says, yeah, I was a little, oh no, not me, I'd never do that. But you don't know what's gonna come your way. You don't know what God has in store for you, and you don't know what you're gonna do. So, but when you get into it, people don't understand. And I tell people this: even if you don't want to write a check and help care bag,
Yeah.
find something to help. Find someone to
Volunteer,
help because
anything.
volunteer because
Yep.
giving back, it feels so good.
Well, you know what? You're funny you say that because I alluded to I have a Down syndrome daughter, Jessica, and every year the AFL-CIO and the different unions, they put on Christmas for the kids in St. Lucie County.
Yeah.
Sheriff Mascara brings in Santa Claus. You have a Rough Riders. It's a motorcycle
Yes.
group that they stuff stockings with things that the three of us in this room will take for granted. A lot of these children live in ARC homes and things of that nature, so they have no family
They have
really.
no family, no.
So they stuff the stockings with things like
'Cause a
soap,
lot of them
shampoo,
understand, yeah.
toothbrushes, toothpaste, and then we collect. I hope there's no little kids out here, but we collect a bunch of money, and then Mrs. Claus makes sure that all those kids get their gifts, and it's just and. I don't do it for the kids. You know who I do it for? I do it for me
It
because
makes
it
you
makes
feel
me
good.
feel so damn good
It
that you know
does.
what I'm giving back to my community because I've been blessed here on the Treasure Coast. I really have. I've been able to raise 6 children, 7 grandbabies, and I've been real fortunate in life, and I love
I love
helping others.
Thanksgiving. And
My favorite holiday.
I love Thanksgiving when we go to the fire department because
Yeah.
I volunteer with the
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
Sometime one year Hawk came with me, Cliff.
Yep.
He brought his family out there and he came with me.
Feed a lot
and
of
it was
families.
just packing food together.
And delivering
or I'll
it,
just
man.
bring friends out there.
Yeah.
Then Roxy, don't you think you do enough? I said, I don't do this. I said to sit home and have a good meal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. But to know that you can give something to someone
Somebody
that doesn't
else.
have
Yeah.
it makes a difference.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yes, I want everyone to write a check for Care Bag. We need it. But
Say that again.
I want everyone to write a check to Care Bag. We
There
need
you
it.
go.
But you know what? Some people like dogs. Some people like horses. Find what you like
niche.
and do for someone else because it makes a difference. And even if that's your niche, that organization that your niche is on, they would need your help. This is where people think I'm crazy. Oh, Roxy, just talk about Care Bag. We talked about it. Being a nonprofit is having partnerships and collaboration.
Amen.
And we want
like a
everyone to
community.
succeed. We want everyone to succeed. And that is the point. We have many partners out there. But as working together, when something is wrong, we have to call on each other.
Right.
When I have a mom that wants to go ahead and put her kid in daycare and she doesn't have the money and she got a job, I call Will. You know what? I call the Boys and Girls Club. You know
Right.
what? I have a kid that really needs it, and he's always come through for me. I have something with babies. I call Sean or Ashley at the Children's Services Council. They fund Care Bag for our 18 and under. So we're very happy for
Sean
the
Boyle
county.
and Ashley Kidd.
Yes, for Children's Services Council St. Lucie. So your tax dollars are going to work because our
And he
babies.
actually dropped his millage again this year too. They're a separate taxing entity, and he dropped his millage along with the county this year.
So, there's just so much happening. And I think our community needs to know. We hear so much international news. We hear so much garbage all over the place. But we really need to focus on where we live because that, yes, everything affects us, but this affects us more.
Absolutely.
This is where we lay our head. And I think that's important for everyone to know.
Yep.
So what else you got for us,
Well, I was
Commissioner?
just going to talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments we've had here in the last 4
Please,
years.
go. The mic is yours.
Okay. Well, it's a poorly kept secret that the Economic Development Council of St. Lucie County has been on an extraordinary hot streak lately. Pete Tesh, who's the EDC president, he's even began to start apologizing. We're creating too many jobs, but I say never apologize, Pete. So over the last 5 years, with great leadership from the county, from the EDC, we saw more than 10,000 jobs and $1.8 billion in economic gains for this county. Continuing that trend during the first half of this year, the EDC has worked on 11 new projects, representing a capital investment of approximately over $200 million, 2.8 square feet of space, and 1,709 or so projected jobs. So with the county's investments in the port, at the airport, you have direct route at the port and critical infrastructure. I can just say we have strong commercial and industrial growth, and to me that's so important. This intentionally effort to diversify our economy is providing good paying jobs and receiving national and international attention. It really has. So the key
that's a
now
plus
is
for
workforce
us.
development.
Right,
And I've
that's a
said that
big
my
plus.
entire life. You've got to look at and get ahead of the curve. And when I say get ahead of the curve, is to build the utilities. Because they say by the year 2050, we're going to have almost 600,000 at least residents in our county, which is a short time away, 27 years, 28 years. That's like having a whole nother Port St. Lucie
On top
in our
of-
county.
in our county.
So we got to get ahead of the curve. If you remember back, I moved here in '91, but long before that, it used to be $10 down, $10 a month, and you could buy a lot in Port St. Lucie. Okay, well, they did all that, and it was a rural town at the time, but we didn't have sidewalks. We didn't have street
Right.
lights. We didn't have proper drainage. We had septic, not sewer. So we've done a really fantastic job the last 4 or 5 years playing catch-up. And we were so fortunate that taxpayers in 2018 passed that halfpenny infrastructure, and we're 100% compliant. We have an oversight board for that, and that's just fixing and helping people on if a culvert collapses or things of that nature, and helping people if they want to go from septic to sewer, we can help them amortize that on their mortgage so they don't get that big hit right up at front. And then things like the Solar Energy Loan Fund, former Commissioner Doug Coward heads up, where your credit score doesn't have to be the best, but if you have an income and ability to pay, they can help with solar, plumbing, air conditioning, things like that. So it's a big deal.
What do you think of the solar?
I
Because they're
think it's-
constantly knocking on my door.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? It's funny
I'm
because
about to put a sign up.
it's
actually.
funny you say that, though, because I've been out knocking on doors for my campaign, and I'll say to people, I'm not a solar
You're not-
salesman. I'm happy to be your St. Lucie County Commissioner. I'm here to speak up, and I don't know if that's the best way
Right.
but my son just had solar installed in his house. I was glad that the governor vetoed. There was a bill there. They were going to take that, you can call it a subsidy, but I call it to try to advance, we know how we have one Earth, and if we
Right.
don't take better care of
That
our
is-
Earth,
We're
then-
seeing the repercussions of
Yes.
it now.
But solar is the way to go,
Is
and
the
the
way to
technology
go.
just keeps getting better and better. But you have to be careful because, like my son, for instance, he said his electric bill used to be about $300 a month, and now it's $125.
Wow.
That's significant
That's a
savings.
big
So
drop.
within 7 years, that solar panel that he installed in his house will be paid for.
Would be paid for.
So when I think the technology will get better, you have to work with your insurance companies too, though,
yes.
because your roof has,
Has-
everybody they keep coming telling you got to change your roof.
Yes.
It used to be 20, 25 years, and now, I don't know,
Everything-
it's up in the air.
everything
but
is
I think
changing.
solar's the way to go. I really
Okay. And what else we got going on?
do. Well, at the airport.
Oh,
We had an
yes.
MRO, which stands for Maintenance, Repair, and Operations. That sat vacant. It was built right during the pandemic when
Right.
we had the ribbon cutting on that and the grand opening. But since that time, we've hired a private company, Hensel Phelps, where not only will they maintain and pay for that MRO, they'll build 2 more. We're getting an extension of 139. That runway will make us available to do commercial flights.
Really?
So, yeah, and
Because it's big enough for
Oh, we
commercial
have-
flights.
We have one of the largest airports in the state of Florida. We're just the world's best kept secret. But
I know that the president's plane landed there twice, if
Yes,
I'm correct.
that's
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay. So
And-
if it can hold Air Force One, it can hold anything. that's all I'm saying. If it can hold Air Force One, which is a massive.
Well, I don't know. Did Air Force One land at the International Airport? It did?
Yeah, it did.
What president? Was that Trump, Obama?
That was Obama.
Bush.
Bush and Obama.
Okay.
Yeah, Bush
I wasn't
and
aware of
Obama,
that. But I
yes.
know that we put a lot of investments into the airport and out at the port. We have a company called Director there, which for years, for decades, that port, it's so accessible to get out into the ocean, one of the best access areas.
Kept secrets
and it's
again.
well, it lay dormant.
Yes.
And finally, in 2018, the county commission voted, and they right before I got elected, but I was part of the process, keeping my ears and eyes open to learn. And they've invested over $19 million of private money with a utility loop and getting grant money from the federal and the state. So this is a great return on our investment. It's the largest lifting device in the Western Hemisphere. And
Wow.
within the next few days, you'll see one of the biggest yachts in the world being lifted on this lifting device. And now people that can afford big yachts that have 3 boats inside that yacht, they're big spenders.
Well, I know for a fact. Oh my goodness, what's his name? Bill Gates.
Okay.
I know his boat
Okay.
has always been. See, you didn't know I know the secrets too.
Yeah. But think about this.
Yeah,
we
but
have a foreign free
they
trade.
know.
We have a foreign free trade zone at the airport. Okay. So imagine the commerce that we can collectively do, and it's a great vision where you have the port here, you have the airport, you have access to the turnpike, you have access to I-95. It's perfect.
It's perfect.
It really is, man.
And
Yeah.
then you got the port, you got the international airport.
And the redevelopment of downtown
That's
Fort
what- then you got
Pierce.
the train.
Yeah.
How is the train system going to be
You know, they still haven't chosen. Like, they're building a stop in Boca, and there's another place north of us, maybe in Brevard County. I'm not sure. But we're still in the running between us and Stewart, where we may
Stewart.
possibly, now I'm thinking with the downtown the
Development.
restoration there,
Oh,
and King's
yes.
Landing, and
The
all
port.
that, and the
Yeah.
port there, that we may be a really good stop.
And
Fingers
then
crossed, 'cause
with our
that'll bring
governor coming here and putting
$2.7 million
into-
that he allocated for downtown and also for Indian River Drive, because the St. Lucie County, we control most of Indian River Drive, and we just invested, I believe, $500,000 in resurfacing, and you know the signs that automatically make you go slower because it'll say your speed is,
Yes.
and we've invested a lot of dollars because there've been fatalities out there,
Fatalities there.
and there's no really side of the road. Because that was originally built, believe it or not, we're going to go back in history in St. Lucie County. That's how pineapples were delivered.
Oh, okay.
Pineapple carts would go up and down Indian River Drive to get their
Their goods
yeah,
to where
their
they
goods
needed
to market.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. See, look at that. On Careology, we get history too
Mm-hmm.
from your Careologist, Roxy. I love that. What else you have? This is, I don't know about Cliff, but this is an educational show for
I
me
heard it.
today.
I seen his ears perk up a
I
couple
know.
times. Well, our communications team, which is important. You're talking about this storm that's coming.
Yes.
This team has won 8 different awards from the Association of Marketing and Communication Professionals for its efforts in its website design, video productions,
And which team is
photography.
this?
That's headed up by a fellow named Eric Gill. He does
Okay.
all our media and social
Okay.
media and things of that nature, and he's a fine guy, really
That's
does.
for the county or St. Lucie?
St. Lucie County.
St. Lucie County, okay.
We also continue to improve our emergency response and the situational awareness to our residents, whether it is that during our tornado warning, which we may have, or how to prepare and recover after a hurricane hits. If 14,000 people are coming to our county every year, that's how many are
That's a
coming to
lot.
St. Lucie County. A lot of them may not know about storm seasons,
Right.
right? So we also need to think about adding additional shelter space. We've made improvements to our sheltering options in recent years, adding a pet-friendly shelter. But sometimes the best move is to shelter in place.
Yes.
It really, really is. No matter, all residents need to have a plan for storm season and then share it with their family members.
So I'm not gonna put you on spot, but I'm gonna talk about you. But
Okay.
you're right here, so I'm not really talking about you because you're right here. But I got a text from you, and I was happy to get that text.
Okay.
That we have gone ahead, and we have now opened up a shelter.
Well,
that
I may
are-
have been a little premature with that.
Okay, so I
You're
won't
talking
say
about,
anything yet.
Yes, because as first year as chairman,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the first environmental
Start.
thing, emergency operation, right? Well, I had spoken to some people and I got information. Well, I was premature because evidently the school board has to vote on closing the schools. The city has to work with the county and it has to be a signed agreement. So I got a little premature in
That's
that.
all right. You know what? I like that you got excited
Yeah.
because at least I know where your mind is.
Yeah, I would
So
just want to
see,
get the word out.
we gotta
because
get
the
the
whole
word out.
discussion was two things. One is that there's financial reasons why you claim a state of emergency also.
Yes.
Because God forbid if something does happen, then there may be FEMA dollars to help us recover some of those costs. But be
yes,
very
the
careful
disaster.
because when FEMA gives you any resources, every I better be dotted and every
Oh,
T better
yes.
be crossed because it's called a clawback,
Right.
and they could take that possibly back. But number two was messaging.
Right.
Err on the side of caution.
Caution,
Please,
always.
please, please. I've been through Jean, Francis. I've been through some bad storms here, and don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
I'd rather say the next day, oh, darn it,
Why did I have
why,
to do
why
all
do
this
all
stuff?
this work?
But you know
But
what?
you're alive, and your loved ones are alive, and your pets are alive.
You
and
knocked the nail on the head, and that's
Yeah.
the important thing. I know we all get tired of having to get those extra cases of water, and to either put up your wood or put up your metal, or to close. For those of us that have to get outside and close the accordion shutters, oh my goodness, so much work. But you know what? It's better, like you said, Sean, to be on the side of caution. Nothing is worse than not being prepared and you need it.
Yep.
And then you're left without it, and you're left wondering, oh my goodness, what only if I.
Right.
And we don't want you to say only
No
if
what
I
ifs.
or what if. We want you to be prepared. We want you to you can grumble. I watched a guy said every year he puts the shutters up and nothing ever happens. He said he'll rather grumble as he takes it down than to know
Absolutely.
when he comes there's nothing left of his
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
I can't believe you got 3 minutes left, Sean. That's how quick time
Wow.
goes when you're having
Well,
fun.
if I could just touch on, from
Please,
a
go
community
ahead.
service perspective,
Yes.
what does the future hold for us?
Right.
Because I think that's important. The county just set aside $400,000 to
Mm-hmm.
partner with private developers to increase workforce housing developments. Big, that's key.
That's very big.
We expanded funding to critical nonprofits like the Hands Clinic. You know about the Hands
Yes,
Clinic?
me and
okay?
our CEO are good friends.
They provide healthcare services for the working
Yes.
poor. Also, we expanded transit services to meet growing business, education, and retail needs. And we expanded the county's two largest libraries back to 6 days a week, was where all the libraries were prior to the Great Recession.
Right.
Also, I'd like to say we're going to keep our reserves, and from the future, from a budget and a taxation standpoint, we got to maintain our current 20% that provides for unexpected opportunities and challenge like we're facing today,
Right.
or a downturn in the economy. You never want to rob Peter to pay Paul. So reserves are important, whether it's a pension fund, a health care fund. We've taken more of a pay-as-you-go when it comes to capital projects, but it's important to look at the responsible debt options to accelerate certain capital projects, because infrastructure is going to be big.
gonna be
we may
big,
spend
that's
over
true.
$100 million in bonds to get ahead of the curve. So we're just going to keep planning efforts to greater participation from our citizens. I think that's,
That's
the old
important.
saying, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth.
That's
Listen,
true.
learn, and then
Listen,
decide.
that is it. You know what? Cliff loves to say that, but this was a great show. We have to have you back on.
I'd love to
because
be
there's
back.
so much more, and just giving this information out to community. So we just want to give a big thank you and a round of applause to our District 2 County Commissioner, Mr. Sean Mitchell.
And
Thank
current
you.
chairman.
And current chairman, thank you very much. And we hope you stay safe and dry during this time. And to everyone within the sound of my voice, I love you and I want you to be safe. So remember, there's nothing outside that you can't wait until tomorrow.
That's right.
That's the best way to
and
say
we
it.
were created with 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we talk. Right?
There you go. That's Cliff's favorite saying. But from here in the studio, myself, Cliff, and our Commissioner Mitchell, we want to say, everyone, have a good night, be blessed, and I definitely want every last one of you watching, listening, to make sure that you are back here on Tuesday so we can laugh about how we had to pack up water and pack up toilet paper. Everyone, have a good night. This is Roxy. On behalf of WPSL, we thank you in our digital world. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe and God bless. Have a good night.